Welcome back to Riding Bikes in San Diego. We are going to ride on 30th from Juniper here in South Park all the way up to Meade and face hardly any interruption whatsoever. And I'm not saying this sarcastically. It's really wonderful when the bike lanes work as designed and when there's space for all of us. This video is sped up a little bit because we don't need to be here for 10 minutes on this. And really the only hazard that we're going to run into is a trash can that was a little behind us. And easy, you know? The reason why these bike lanes were put in on 30th Street is because people advocated for them and because it was recognized that people get around too much by bike and it's just not safe to have to share the road with cars, so people on bicycles needed a dedicated space. And for all that we have these dedicated lanes now. Oh no, here's our trash can. Boom, get out of here. Other than that, it's nice that we have this dedicated space here. The only problem, of course, is that usually it's just paint, and and then sometimes it has these flex posts, and the flex posts and paint don't actually stop drivers from putting cars in the space. And I have goodness knows how many videos on this channel illustrating that. I also have a video on this channel if you want to backtrack of getting hit at one of the intersections. We just saw a driver smacks me with their car on a left turn while I am going straight through the intersection. But none of that's going to happen tonight. This is really a smooth ride there, and I anticipate that there's going to be cars parked, drivers putting their cars where they don't belong, especially right over here. This block is notorious for having drivers parked in it, and they're just going to be there for a minute, right? Like they're just running into the taco shop or the ramen spot, and just a minute, but it's a minute that gets in the way of people riding their bicycles safely, and especially when it's dark out. I mean, I have lights. You could see my red light blinking in the back, and I have a front-facing light. And that's helpful, but it's nice to have my dedicated space so that all these other people who are driving don't want me in the way. So here we are. It's excellent, especially up here through North Park. Sometimes people just park in these spots because they figure nobody uses the bike lane, and that'll never make sense to me. But as a matter of fact, we're approaching the counter. If you're ever riding on 30th Street, especially from North Parkway, which we're approaching in a moment, to University, there's a little counter on the left side outside that parking garage, and there's a bank on the corner after that. And I always love going through that. I love seeing how many people use it. And as a matter of fact, I'll dig up the counter's website and put it in the description below, so that way you can see just how many people bike on this specific block. And sometimes people say, well, that's not a very high number. Maybe you'll go through a day and there'll be 300 people or something like that, and they're like, well, that's not that many compared to the people who drove their cars. But I would point out that that ticker, that counter, does not. Oh, look, this guy's on a bike, and he's going faster than me. And there was a car on the bike lane there, but they were nestled up on that parklet. So it's not a perfect ride, but I mean nearly like 95%. This is really excellent. About the counter, it measures how many people are on that block. It does not measure the people who are riding on Utah. It doesn't measure the people who rode from north of here and stopped at University. It doesn't measure the people who got on at North Parkway and went south into South Park. It only measures people on that one block on that day. So I think that's worth keeping into perspective, especially when a lot of people who are anti-bike lane say that we should be using streets other than 30th. So some people do, and they don't get counted. And then it's a weird circular logic where they get to say, like, nobody uses the bike lane, but they should be someplace else. And so then they go someplace else and like, well, nobody's using it, but they're elsewhere. Anyway, we're approaching El Cajon Boulevard here. The drivers do muscle into the painted bike lane here, but that's okay. We're going to wait for the green light. We get going, and it's super rare that I ride this far on 30th Street without some major obstruction in the bike lane. and it's good to appreciate the good circumstances when they happen. So we're going to appreciate that, drive less, and ride a bike. Thanks.